Hello and welcome to this executive scientific report on substrate analog inhibitors. In this presentation, we will discuss recent FDA approvals, review key INDs in our pipeline, and provide an economic assessment of this important class of therapeutics. This report is intended to provide an overview of the substrate analog inhibitor market and does not constitute investment advice. For detailed company-specific analysis, please refer to our individual company reports. Substrate analog inhibitors SAIs are a class of therapeutic agents that mimic natural enzyme substrates to competitively inhibit enzyme activity. Their specificity and effectiveness have made them foundational in treating diseases such as diabetes, cancer, and infectious disorders. SAIs are designed to bind to an enzyme's active site, thereby preventing the natural substrate from initiating a catalytic reaction. Over the last decades, this pharmacological strategy has yielded several FDA-approved therapies and a growing pipeline of investigational drugs. Here, we highlight for FDA-approved SAIs that are commercially available and are expected to yield substantial revenue. We also discuss several key SAIs in our pipeline that hold promise for future commercialization. For best-selling substrate analog inhibitors, among the best-selling FDA-approved SAIs, the top 4 include Canagliflozin and 𝗦𝗡𝗏, which was approved in 2013. This SGLT2 inhibitor reduces glucose reabsorption in the kidney, leading to glucose excretion via urine. It is widely used in type 2 diabetes and has expanding indications in heart failure and chronic kidney disease. Empagliflozin jardians, which was approved in 2014, it offers benefits similar to Canagliflozin and has demonstrated cardiovascular mortality reduction, leading to widespread clinical adoption. Ertugliflozin STEGLATRO, which was approved in 2017, it functions within the same therapeutic class and has steadily increased market penetration. Enzalutamide XTANDI, which although not a traditional metabolic SAI, mimics androgen substrates and inhibits androgen receptor signaling, making it highly effective in treating castration-resistant prostate cancer. Actual sales performance. From 2020 to through 2024, these drugs demonstrated strong commercial performance. Canagliflozin generated 2022 sales of $3.2 billion, increasing to $3.5 billion in 2023, and is projected to reach $3.8 billion in 2024. Empagliflozin achieved 2022 sales of $4 billion, rising to $4.5 billion in 2023, and is forecasted to hit $5 billion in 2024. Ertugliflozin showed steady growth from $1.2 billion in 2022 to $1.4 billion in 2023, and is estimated at $1.6 billion in 2024 projected sales. Based on market expansion, pricing models, and additional indications, we forecast the following revenues for 2025 to 2027. Canagliflozin is expected to grow to $4.1 billion in 2025, $4.3 billion in 2026, and $4.5 billion in 2027. Empagliflozin is projected to reach $5.5 billion in 2025, $6 billion in 2026, and $6.5 billion in 2027. Ertugliflozin is estimated at $1.8 billion in 2025, $2 billion in 2026, and $2.2 billion in 2027. Enzalutamide XTANDI is anticipated to generate $5.4 billion in 2025, $5.7 billion in 2026, and $6 billion in 2027. Investigational new drugs. Several SAIs in early-stage development exhibit strong commercial potential. Notably, Vimseltinib Decipher, which was recently approved in 2025 for the treatment of tenosynovial giant cell tumor TGCT. Initially submitted as an IND in 2016, this molecule exemplifies the rapid development to approval path for SAIs. Other notable candidates include Indenoisoquinoline derivatives. These DNA topoisomerase I inhibitors are under development by multiple institutions and pharmaceutical companies with phase 1 to trials targeting colorectal, ovarian, and small cell lung cancers. Additionally, GLF2 inhibitors represent a novel class of antibiotics targeting a critical enzyme and Mycobacterium tuberculosis cell wall biosynthesis. Currently in preclinical stages, these compounds show promise for treating resistant TB strains. Economic assessment estimating the precise economic value of these IND assets is challenging due to inherent risks in drug development. However, based on an average drug development cost of approximately $868 million for new molecules, we estimate the following peak annual revenues and net present values. Vimseltinib is projected to reach $500 million in peak annual sales with an estimated NPV of $1.2 billion. Indenoisoquinoline derivatives, considering multi-indication potential, could reach $1 billion in peak annual sales with an estimated NPV of $800 million. GLF2 inhibitors, given the variability in clinical and regulatory landscapes, are estimated to achieve $500 million in peak annual sales with an NPV of $300 million. Sensitivity analysis. The NPVs are sensitive to various factors including clinical success rates, regulatory approvals, pricing, and market penetration. Assuming an 85% probability of success, we estimate the NPV of Vimseltinib at $1.2 billion, which is sensitive to speed of uptake in orthopedic oncology and competition from CSF1R inhibitors. For the indenoisoquinoline derivatives, with a 60% probability of success, we estimate an NPV of $800 million, which is sensitive to trial efficacy, toxicity profile, and payer access. Lastly, with a 30% probability of success, GLF2 inhibitors have an NPV of $300 million, which is highly sensitive to regulatory hurdles, who prioritization and resistance profiles. Conclusion: substrate analog inhibitors have proven effective in treating various diseases, offering both clinical and commercial success. Top-performing SAIs continue to demonstrate strong market growth, while the robust pipeline promises significant near-term revenue. Strategic investments in next-generation SAIs, particularly those targeting oncology and antimicrobial resistance, offer substantial ROI potential and public health impact over the next 3 to 5 years. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please contact us.